Hello, hello, family. Welcome to He Say, She Say Live. I am your host, Char, attorney mediator, headquartered out of Atlanta, and founder of Law for Love and the Gender Wars Stop Here. This conversation is for the Black community and helping our families, our men, our women hear each other and understand each other so that we can find the truth. How do we move forward and get unstuck out of all of the division and frustration that has been plaguing our families? And a lot of the stuff we have inherited from just the condition that we've been in here in the United States. We've learned a lot of things about not needing each other or not supporting each other or tearing each other down. And we need to talk about it. But even more than talking about it, family, we need to come up with a game plan. And that's what the goal is here at He Say, She Say Family Coach Live. Like, okay, it's one thing to talk about the problem. It's one thing to say, oh, well, this is the problem. Oh, well, this is why, and this is why. But the next piece of the conversation needs to be, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? And how do we come up with a strategy? How do we come up with a game plan to help us build our community, beginning with our families, beginning with our marriages? So welcome in, and I appreciate all of you for supporting the channel. Please do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe, and share He Say, She Say Live with some married folks. This season of He Say, She Say Live is focused on marriage. We will be having conversations to go into parent-child stuff that is very heavy on our community, but this season is dedicated to marriages. So welcome in, Shalom, Sister Princess, welcome, peace and blessings, Brother Walter. Thank you all for joining the conversation. And now I want to begin here. Full disclosure, I am beat up today. I am beat up today because I have been in court all day. I think I literally stepped foot back in my home office a little under an hour ago, and I am just wiped out. And so I'm saying that now just as a preface that tonight's conversation will not be drawn out simply because of the energy that I'm bringing in from a very, very emotional, draining day, helping to navigate a family through a court trial. It was scheduled for trial, but we ended up mediating. And you know, at the end of the day, mediation, it does a couple of things. Number one, it does not air out your dirty laundry in a courtroom full of strangers. And that's one of the biggest peeves that I have about the family court system. Most people don't understand, you know, everyday families, you think, okay, I have to go to the court to go deal with this, but you're not thinking about the fact that it is a lawsuit. Hi. You're not thinking about the fact that it's a lawsuit. And what lawsuits are public proceedings. So, you know, today we went into a courtroom for a public proceeding. There were other cases scheduled for that proceeding. The public is free to walk in and sit down and just enjoy the popcorn of watching you air out your dirty laundry on the witness stand in a public court. And so I hate that. I hate that something as close, something as intimate, something as private as your family situation becomes a public display of mudslinging, dragging skeletons out the closet and destroying each other. So that's number one, my biggest reason why mediation is so near and dear to me, because it's private. You know, I got to court, I met the other attorney, and I said, hey, can we talk? And he's like, yeah. And we grabbed a room off on the side somewhere, and we just began to have conversations. He's telling me what his client's saying, I'm telling him what my client's saying, and we're like, you know, what can we do to figure this out? Now, I'll be very, very honest that it didn't quite start off with us fully being committed to the conversation because his client put out a position that I knew my client wasn't going to agree to. And I'm like, look, it'll be faster for us to just go ahead and do this trial. So we went back and we told the judge, hey, look, we're ready for a trial. And this judge, man, she was awesome. This was I just had to give a shout out to the judge. I'm not gonna shout out the county or the judge's name, but this was a sister, and just the way she handled us in the process was just like above board. She was on point. So she asked us, she said, hey, do y'all think that it might make a difference if y'all meet with me in my office? And we were both open to, just the attorneys go back and just have a private conversation with the judge. And she kind of gave us her preliminary concerns and some questions that she would like to have answered. And she put some, she put some expectations on both sides. And we were both able to take those guidelines back to our clients and hash out an agreement based on the fact that, like, look, the judge already said, like, this is what she would like to see, and this is what she's not going for. And that helped our clients to kind of get out of their feelings and get to the business of making some deals. And so that can only happen when you're working with a professional. The other attorney is a younger attorney, but definitely professional. Way big shout out to the way he handled the case. It was great working with him. And he also said, hey, I'd love to work with you on more cases so we could just get this done. Like, get these people out of court, get the deal done behind the scenes. Don't have people on the stand with the craziness, because it's a lot. It's a lot. So that's my rant about why mediation is so near and dear to my heart. You could get a private solution. You could get a whole lot more details. You have a whole lot more power than the court has. People look at the judge and think, oh, the judge can make all my dreams come true. No, there were things we were able to do in a private contract that the judge would never have the authority to do. We could be more creative with your family by working out a private contract. So we definitely accomplished that, and everyone was relieved not to have to go through the mudslinging combat of a trial today. So shalom and peace and blessings, Brother Red. Peace and blessings, Brother Fast Nickel. Welcome in, welcome in. So today's conversation is a rant. And it is a rant that is directed primarily at my 30-somethings and my 20-somethings. Now, this issue is still exists with older folk that we used to call people in their 40s and up. We used to call you grown folks once you hit 40, but there's been some kind of phenomenon in society where people are a certain age on number, their numerical age, but they still adolescent in their worldview and their perspective and in their emotions. So what we used to call grown folks does not always mean that it's grown folk reasoning, but this is about what you are really saying when you are saying I do. What the true implications are, how serious it is when you say, I want to be your wife, or I want to be your husband. What are you actually saying? Because here's the thing. This thing that we call covenant, those of us who we live our lives according to the culture of the Bible, we say covenant because that word in and of itself means never ending. It means forever. It means everlasting. But in today's culture, nothing is everlasting. Everything is optional. Everything is optional. And so people are coming into this thing we call marriage, myself included. Look, I'm going to be the first one to snitch on myself. My mindset was, yes, to death do us part, because that's the cute little oath that you say, because that's what you see on all of the Hallmark movies, all the Lifetime movies at the little wedding. You make that vow, till death do us part. But when you said that, you made a sacred oath that the only way this relationship ends is when one of us dies. And I don't think we really value that for what it is, family. What did it mean when I said to you that one of us must die? And I think that this is the reason why family law is so it's a very emotional and stressful area of the law to practice. And I believe that the reason why is because when it comes to this kind of promise, too often one person is coming in with that mentality saying, this it, we're gonna have to figure this out. If we got to fight every night for the next 30 years until we figure this out, then I'm stuck with you and you stuck with me. But the other person doesn't necessarily have that same commitment level. Again, I'm blasting myself out when I say this because our culture in modern times is this. Well, if it don't work, then I'll just divorce you. Like, it's like, you know, the same way over the past 30 years, abortion became a form of birth control. It's like something that should have never happened in the first place, which was the abortion. It's now the option for dealing with a choice that was made. And so it has now become, oh, well, if if circumstances would have it that I have an unwanted pregnancy or an unexpected pregnancy, well, then this is my option. My option is that I will get an abortion. Like, we're looking to the thing that is forbidden as a way to escape the pain of the consequence. And so I'm not trying to make this no debate about whether abortion and pregnancy and whether right to your body. That, look, I'm not getting into all of that. Yes, you have all kind of situations where people ain't had nothing to do with how they got pregnant. That's not the point that I'm making here. The point that I'm making is that in our culture, murder is forbidden. And now this thing of an unwanted pregnancy I can now turn to an unforbidden thing to deal with the consequence of what I'm now finding myself in. And that's the same thing that I'm saying right now about marriage. What should be forbidden is that we break our promises. Promise keeping is a very sacred right in our culture. And we have grown up in a culture that has things like little white lies or, oh, everybody lies sometimes. Like, we've actually normalized lies to the point where we have lost the value and the significance of the promises that we make with our own mouth. If I tell you I'm gonna do something and I don't do it, then legally speaking, I am a liar. So when you come into a marriage and you're coming in with the D word as an option because you're facing pain and you just want to get out of your pain, and maybe if I use this word, maybe if I threaten this word, maybe I might get out of this pain. No. Because when you made that promise was, I will die for you. That's really what you were saying. I will die for you. All right. Y'all know I got to pull the comments up so I can actually read them right. I told my husband I don't believe in divorce or cheating. If he wants out, one of us has to go. Hey, that's it right there. Look. That's what that exchange of vows meant. That's what that ceremony meant. That's what that promise between you, this other person, and your maker, it meant. that this ends when one of you dies. And anybody who's ever worked with me, behind the scenes in family law, I'm not dogmatic when it comes to scripture. I'm not dogmatic when it comes to, hey, I'm not that person that when you come to me and you like, hey, look, I can't do this anymore and I want out. Can you help me? Like at the end of the day, I'm a legal professional under the laws of the state. That option is available to you. And, I don't take it lightly. And I ask questions. Hey, is there any way that we could bring what died back to life? Can we resurrect the dead? I ask that because I take it seriously, but I do not guilt or shame people who come to that conclusion. But the conversation or the understanding that we have to have about marriage is I promise you that one of us will die. And I just want to say it in that context, because especially for younger folks, because culturally we've become reckless with marriage. Marriage has just become the next thing that you do on your list of things to do towards becoming an adult. You graduate high school, you go to college, you get your job, you get married, you have kids. Like, no, 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 no. This ain't no checkbox situation. And I'm working on getting this one couple to come and share their journey with you, because I believe that they embody the secret sauce of marriage when it comes to their friendship. So when you think about the law concerning friendship, the greatest love or the greatest act of love, according to biblical culture, is that the highest form of love is to be willing or to actually give your life for your friend. Will you die for me? And I'm sorry, but that's not the attitude of folk that end up in here that's like, I can't do this no more. They've decided that living with you is too painful for me to find a way to die and stay. And now when I'm saying die and stay, I'm not talking about like, like you off or delete yourself. No, but dying to the fact that this person is not making you happy. This person is not meeting your needs. This person does not completely understand you. This person may not even be equally yoked to you with respect to the person who you have grown into and the purpose that is on your life. But are you willing to die to keep your promise? Are you willing to say, this is the act of giving my life that proves my friendship to you, even when this thing done turned sour, it's turned for the worse? That's what I'm talking about right now. When I'm talking about dying while you still alive, because you promised your life. And look, I tell my clients frequently, I know that the place that I come from, the advice that I give, the insight and the perspective that I share is because of the road I've been required to walk. I don't skip through no field of flowers smiling and holding hands, y'all. And I wish that when I was in my 20s, when I was out around here, just looking to hurry up and just do the next thing, to be booed up, because that's what you're supposed to do, because you got to be cute for the picture. Like, what? I wish one of them aunties would have sat my fast tail down somewhere and told me the whole story. Because it took years for me to start understanding some stuff that my mother learned after my father died. My mother was with my father until his final illness took him. And she missed him. Oh my goodness. She really, really missed him. They were married 25 years. She missed him a lot. And I know that she missed his companionship, and she had never lived alone. She had never really been alone. She was always in a relationship. She like left my grandma house in a relationship. Like that was her ticket about my grandma house. Like my mother had never been a single woman. And so she's in her late 40s now, trying to navigate widowhood and really, really, struggling in her aloneness. But that was tested when she was in she had returned to college to work on her master's degree. And another non-traditional student was in her class, and they became friends. And he suggested after the passage of time that they should just get married. They were friends, that they had a very healthy friendship. And by the way, I do think that marriages between friends have a special kind of something. Like I said, I want to talk about that as a separate topic. Once I could kind of confirm this particular couple to come on. But that brother asked my mom to marry him. And my mother said, "Oh no." She said, "I did my time in marriage before. I know what all is involved in that, the good, the bad, the ups, the downs, the struggle, the pain, the joy, and the tears. And I don't ever want that again." She had experienced the real. And I don't feel like the older women, and I'm just speaking to the women right now because I don't know what the conversations are that the brothers have. Y'all could tell me what the conversations that you've had around marriage from the older men. But I'm speaking from the perspective as once being a younger woman who desired marriage, but never being invited to or confronted with a conversation from older people in marriage about what this thing is. Don't do it. Don't do what? You know what? I'm gonna try to figure out how to drop a link just in case somebody want to come on here and rant. I don't, look. I'm trying to have that auntie moment right now for somebody who ain't had no auntie sit you down and tell you the truth. Look, with my nieces, I'm that auntie. I go there. I'm real raw when when I have conversations with young folk. I give them details that make them cringe, that make them uncomfortable. And it's because I think that it's my responsibility as someone with experience, somebody who is in this season of life that I'm in the auntie generation. When it comes to our 20 somethings, I am an auntie. And I have experience that they can benefit from if I tell them the truth. So what's this? I had older men telling me, "Don't do it." Right. Right. Because when we look at the reasons why people jump into this thing, y'all, the reasons be all over the place. Oh, I don't want to be alone. Oh, I don't want to have the guilt of having sex outside of marriage. I know for me, growing up in the Christian church, that was like mission number one. You want to have legal sex. Oh, I want to have my children in a 2-parent home. All of these reasons. But it takes a revelation of understanding what marriage is that's going to anchor you to weather the storms that will come and challenge your commitment to die. Because sometimes those challenges are coming so that something in you can die. Your selfishness, your pride, especially your lying lips. Because for me and for many other people who I've met along this journey called marriage, you hopped into a situation where you thought you knew a certain amount of stuff about somebody that was good enough for you to want them. And it wasn't until after you committed your life to this person that their real self came out their bag. So it's like, and that's when you're ready to run. That was it for me. Because the dudes was telling me not to get married, but still get what you get because they passing it out. That mindset is incorrect. Absolutely. Like, yeah, here's the thing. You get married so you can have you can have guilt-free sex. But what happens when that person is like not someone that you actually like? I mean, and so that's what I'm getting at is that, you know, I have learned that in this culture that we live in, people are more concerned with being lovers. And that's the most unreliable aspect to keep your marriage strong. Let me see, what's this? Yep, we had several trials that tested our marriage, especially children not being part of the equation. This journey right here that you're speaking of is super hard. And I don't know that a lot of people really understand that infertility journey. In fact, my life coach, she's actually publishing a book about her own infertility journey, the numerous miscarriages, and I mean, just like an incredible story. And she, she shares so raw that journey. And yeah, that test right there can definitely and does definitely tax marriages. When you find the one that fits, both spouses really grow into themselves. So this is a good mark right here, because let me tell you what I recently shared. Um all right, y'all, here we go. This is a biblical law that I learned last year. Let me find the exact reference for it. Let me see. Deuteronomy 22:10. I'm gonna pull it up. I must have misspelled Deuteronomy. This law right here, this law right here is a game changer. And for anyone, young folk who want to get married, thinking about getting married, I'm gonna tell you right now, this is one of the laws that you need to test your relationship with before you even think about getting married. So the way they used to teach it back in the days, um, the way they used to teach it back in the days when I was growing up, they called it "Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers." But let me try to find this. Where is the window? Okay, here it is. Y'all see this? Deuteronomy 22:10. You shall not plow with an ox and a donkey together. Now that's a New King James version. But it hit a little different in King James when I expound upon this law. Hold on. Where is it? King James. King James. There we go. Deuteronomy 22:10. Thou shalt not plow with an ox and an ass together. So can anybody pick up what we're throwing down here? It is saying if you take an ox and you yoke an ox to a donkey, you are violating the law. How does this relate to marriage? Can you see where this relates to marriage? Can you picture taking the yoke? Now, the yoke is designed to tie two beasts together. And the mission of the yoke is for the two to walk forward together so that they can carry the load of advancing the purpose of the yoke. So if you tie a smaller animal, a weaker animal, to a stronger animal, that ox is going to drag that donkey in circles. They will never be able to walk forward in a straight line together because they cannot evenly or equally share the weight of the yoke. And when the ox is dragging the donkey, the ox does not have the endurance or the longevity that it is designed to have for its lifetime. Y'all, I'm going to tell y'all this right now. How often I see marriages hit the rocks because this law is being violated. One person has the strength of the ox. The other person is a weaker person. They don't have the same strength of their calling. I put it to you like that. Certain people are called on a certain kind of assignment that requires a certain type of strength, and are not always looking at the person that they're choosing to partner their life with by examining the strength of this person's character, the strength of this person's mission, the compatibility to be able to walk together and share the weight of a yoke, and end up dragging an ass. This law right here, y'all. And I cannot tell you how many people I've shared this law with. I'm like, do you know the Bible say it's actually a law that you're not supposed to yoke two beasts together who do not have equal weight or equal strength? I will call this a very, very important marriage principle for anybody thinking about getting married. So to me, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. Are you yoking yourself to somebody with the same strength of faith that you have? Are you yoking yourself to somebody with the same level of conviction that you have? Are you yoking yourself to somebody with the same big, ridiculous, unbelievable dream or purpose or mission in life that you have? I was getting on my niece the other day because she young and beautiful and she got her whole life ahead of her. And I said, baby, listen, I'm going to need you to come up with your 1-year plan, your 5-year plan, your 10-year plan, your 20-year plan, your 30-year plan, and your 50-year plan. Because the other thing that I see when people give out of steam and they say, look, I'm sorry, I know I said to death do us part, but I can't do this no more, is because they stopped dreaming. Your dream was the house and the kids and the job. And when you finally got those things, you no longer found any purpose in your marriage. You no longer found a reason to continue to die to yourself, to continue to give of yourself for the dream that y'all shared together. And people give up and people faint. And I'm just dropping some of these things that I've picked up along the way that I wish a sister would have told somebody. And just tell me with a great degree of detail. Because when you single, all you know is that you want to be married. And your desire to be married is so much more strong than somebody saying, marriage isn't easy. Everybody has heard that. Everybody knows that. Give me some detail. Help me to understand how not to be dragging the ass while married or not being the ass that is being drugged. Because when you have someone pulling all of the weight of the marriage and exhausting themselves and pulling the weight of the marriage, they're not going to want to wait for one of y'all to die so that they can live. Because it feels like they're dying, dragging the weight and the burden and the responsibility of the marriage. I knew I needed a man I could not run over. He needs to be able to keep up with me or knows when we need to slow down. Yes, looking at him for his leadership. Why are you laughing at? Why you laughing at me? What I did? What I said? I'm just saying, y'all. Look, anyone who calls himself a disciple of the Messiah, by saying that you are a disciple, by choosing the way, by saying you're going to be committed to this walk, you actually said, I will die to myself. I don't think we be understanding this, y'all. We be wanting to look good for the picture. We be wanting to put another mark on the wall for the next year, another year done passed by. Oh, we've been together 30 years. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. It's a lot of marriages crashing and burning at 20 years and up. Crashing and burning. Don't judge the health of nobody's marriage by how long they've been together. But I will say this though. The ones that stand together just as miserable because they say, hey, we just gonna have to die like this. Some of them say, look, one of us gonna have to die up out of this. Or both of us. Hey, they keeping it true to form with that. But it's a lot of do not judge the health of somebody's marriage off of they been together. Oh, they so cute. No, they not. They cussing each other out. Calling divorce lawyers. And it is because we come into this very, very sacred, very, very important, that this place is your first ministry. It's just like people who desire to be in ministry positions or who desire to be in leadership positions. You have no idea what you asking for. It's like the sons of thunder. Their mama came asking Messiah, hey, give my kids one a seat on your left hand and one a seat on your right hand. And Messiah looking at bro like, do you even know what you asking for? You don't even know if you can handle this cup. People like to sit back and they want to see your beautiful wedding and y'all cute together and have no idea what this cup tastes like. This ain't nothing to play with. This is an agreement to die. It ain't for kicks and giggles, and it ain't for you to feel good and look good and y'all to be happy together. That's not what the purpose of marriage is. And you fully walk into the purpose of marriage once you realize you were supposed to die. And when both of y'all realize that y'all were supposed to die, that's where the beauty takes place. Because the promise is that there is beauty for ashes, where you have been in mourning, where you have been in loss, where you have been afflicted, and you have navigated through that, and you have found joy in the Most High. You put your hope in Him and not in no man making you happy. When you have looked to the hills from whence cometh your help, and you say the joy of Yah is my strength, and you find Him and His purpose for marriage and His glory in what you have to give up about you, that's where He shines the Most High in our marriages. That's when true love shows up. Not this little foo-foo play stuff that people out here messing around with and walking away from and destroying people's lives, walking away from their promises. I'm sorry, young folks. Don't do it. Get yourself some older folk and bring your boo over to the house and have some real conversations, because I don't care how cute you think he is or how fine she is. That is not going to keep you together. Because you're going to wake up one day to a person who did not show you who they are all the way. And you're going to have to decide that you're going to keep your word regardless. When that person show their true colors. Look, hey, like when the princess on Shrek, when Shrek realized she was an ogre, ain't it? Like, hey, that's what Shrek would tell you. Shrek say, man, look, I'm an ogre too. Oh, true love showed up in their friendship because both of them was ogres, y'all. It was like, hey, we both ugly. We might as well go and be together. I'm sorry. Shrek was keeping it real, y'all. You end up marrying the ogre, and then they find out you the ogre too. Now what you gonna do? Are you ready to die? That is the question. So family, like I said, I feel like the community, we need to be we have a great opportunity right now when it comes to our younger folks. We don't want to discourage marriage. We just want to discourage foolishness and why people get married. And then once you get married, you want to go ahead and get divorced because you realize you got married for the wrong reasons. Like, no, at that point, it's too late. You promised your life to this person. You can't just look the same way you would tell your kids, be a man of your word, be a person of your word. You can't go and say one thing and do another. We need to have the same attitude with our young people when it comes to the promises that they're making in their love lives. But our opportunity here is to have real conversations with them and to get involved in helping them to see what this thing really is, because they're judging our marriages by seeing that we're still together, but they're not understanding the price that we're paying to stay together. And so we're doing our young folks an injustice when we're not having these conversations and we're not getting in their business when it comes to their love life. I don't want to see divorce in the younger generation the way that it's going on right now, because the way it's going on right now don't make no sense. And it's because of our lack of knowledge that our marriages have perished this way. We don't have to keep taking these L's if we having these Open and honest conversations. So, with that, I appreciate y'all. Y'all know I love you. I love having these conversations. And I just love sharing the truth and the realness of what the word is telling us. I mean, it is a blueprint for us to find the path, and the path is going to be hard. Like, even when you kind of figure out all of the principles and you understand what you're getting into, and you asking the hard questions and you preparing yourself for life together, it's still hard. It's still hard. And it's hard for a number of reasons. But it doesn't have to be as hard when we're seeking Yah's mission in marriage. What is he wanting us to learn and understand about his great plan by putting two people in the same space, having to figure out how to die for one another? So I look forward to chatting with y'all next Monday, y'all. Hey, here at He Say, She Say Live, Family Coach Live. The gender war stop here. Safe place for men and women to talk openly about us, our families, our community, us doing better, us finding love again, us finding the reason to fight for our family again. And beginning with telling the truth about how hard this thing called marriage is and why we are not to take it lightly. We don't throw the baby out with the bathwater and just say, okay, don't nobody get married, because that's one of the fastest way to eliminate yourself as a people. Your nation will not survive without marriages. But let's find a way to rebuild the institution in our minds, in our culture, in our heart, in our commitment, in our loyalty, in our faithfulness, by putting some respect back on these oaths. I will die for you, or I will stay with you until you die. That is what you're really saying. And that we can't keep playing with. So with that, family, I love you all. I look forward to doing this with you again next Monday. Y'all be blessed and encouraged.